Okay, so now we're going to learn a new verb, which is very important. And this verb, when you change it, you add on er. It becomes er in the end. And remember, in Swedish, you can't have a lot of vowels in the end, like a and e. Like in English, you have I and e connected to each other. You don't usually find this in Swedish. Instead, you find one vowel between two consonants. So we're going to learn a new important verb, and it's the verb for describing need. So to say to need, in Swedish you would say att behöva. Att behöva. And a need, like I have a need, is ett behov, behov. But here we're going to look at the verb. We're going to focus on the verb, to need, att behöva. So to say I need, you would say jag behöver. Jag behöver. And of course, in Swedish, you would use the same form in all of the remaining ones. So you need would be du behöver. And of course, at this point, you probably know he needs. How would you say that? Han behöver. And you can also quickly give all of the remaining ones. Hon behöver. Den or det behöver. Ni behöver. De behöver. Vi behöver. So what was the word for tomorrow? Tomorrow. Imorgon. I morgon. If you remove the I, morgon, similar to the English word morning. And of course it means the same thing. So morgon means morning. I morgon, that means tomorrow. In morning, literally. So let's ask this question. Are you presenting tomorrow? No, I am not doing it. Okay, so you need to break it up. The first part, don't think about the are you. That's a very English thing, the are. So we think present you, right? Present you. Presenterar du, that means present you. You present, du presenterar. So make it a question, you switch the order. Presenterar du. And tomorrow is imorgon. No, to say no, you say nej. I am not doing it. Jag gör inte det. Så presenterar du imorgon? Nej, jag gör inte det. And you can also notice that instead of saying imorgon, I said imorgon. And this is simply very informal Swedish that you will hear when you're walking on the streets, talking to people. Is it your car? No, it is not my car. Är det din bil? Nej, det är inte min bil. And of course the word for my would be min here, not mitt, because car is en bil. What about it is our phone? Det är vår telefon. For now, when we're saying it, we're using det. We're going to talk later on about when you're going to use den. But for now, we're using det. Det är vår telefon. It is our phone. I need my mobile. Of course, you wouldn't technically or typically refer to a phone in English as mobile. Regularly, you would say my phone. But in Swedish, you can say my mobile. So how would you say that? I need. And the word to say need was the one we just learned in the previous slide. So to say need, you would say behöver. Behöver. That's the changed form. So how would you say I need my mobile? Jag behöver min mobil. And this is actually something interesting, the word behöver. Because in English, we don't say behöver, we say need, right? But there is actually, etymologically, there is actually a related word. Behooves. It's a very fancy word. It behooves you to act in this matter, right? So behooves, if you look up the history of that word, you'll see that it comes from Old German. And it's related to need, to the word for needing something. So behöver, if you're struggling to think of behöver, try to think of it behooves you. What was the word for a house? A house. Ett hus. Now, if we want to make this into a definite form, when I say definite form, I mean a known form. When we're talking about something that we all know. So for instance, if I say, oh, did you see that presentation? The presentation was horrible. When I'm saying the presentation was horrible, I am assuming that you already know which presentation I'm talking about. That's why I say the presentation. It's a very specific presentation that you have probably already seen. So it's a known form. So to make the known form in Swedish, we don't use the. Instead, we would add on the ending. So ett hus, we would add on et because it's ett. Huset. Ett hus, huset. And that means the house. Okay, so let's look at a different example. This time we're looking at en. So en natt. En natt. That's a night. So how do you think you would say the night in Swedish? If ett hus became huset, how do you think natt would change if it starts with en? Natten. Natten. So you just add on the en in the end, and you get the night. Natten. So let's learn another verb. This one describes movement, like saying go. So you say to say go, you would say gå, gå. So to say I go, you would add on an R. You would say jag går. So how would you say you go? Du går. He goes. Han går. She goes. Hon går. It goes. Den, det går. You people go. Ni går. What about they go? De går. And finally, we go. Vi går.